Jake, to start with, 10 Wallabies in the starting 15, 3 off the bench. Like, this is probably the first time we're going to see, as for Waratahs, fully together after this offseason. How exciting is it for you just to see it all come together and be able to run out near full-strength side on Saturday?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's been it was a good hit out last week against Pacifica, and we've got a few guys who have had a shortened pre-season, but it's been a pretty intense one too. But we're excited for the game on the weekend. We understand that it's probably our first proper hit out together, and there's going to be a little bit of teething in that too. And we're just excited to finally get some rugby underway, and round one isn't too far off now either.
I think Dan was saying on Tuesday there's something like 40 fit players, like only 2 in rehab. Like, you've been around this club and there's been some serious injury issues, including last year. Just can you speak from a training perspective how nice it is having a full strength side together for the first time? It feels like a long time.
Yeah, look, it's I'm not part of the medical team. I probably can't comment on those sort of things, but it's great. I know the support staff have been working really hard to get everyone fit, and they've done an incredible job in doing that. It's good to see fresh, fit faces out on the park, and like you said, 40 guys ready to go is great for the squad.
One of those guys is Dave Parecki. Maybe his first game since the World Cup, he's leading Australia. Can you speak to the character that he has around this group and what it means to see someone like that go through those injury setbacks and be able to pull on that Sky Blue jersey again? Yeah,
I think last year for Dave was a really frustrating year. I think he might have played maybe 40 minutes. I think he played that Rebels trial last year, and he obviously had that issue with his Achilles that sort of was ongoing throughout the year. And Dave's a funny guy and a great leader in our group. He sort of was in last year, training throughout the whole year. Would have been a really tough year for him, but we're happy. He's a real strong leader in our group, and especially in that forward pack. And his skill set is world class, and we're excited to see him back.
Jake, we said it was a bit like Groundhog Day at times last year, having to front up every week, close losses. What's one thing, if you could identify, you really want to see the team improve from last year?
It's a tough question. There's a few things, we want to be a team that really fights. As cliche as it is, we want to be a team that, fight for those loose possessions on the ground, have a real grit in defence. We've made, some pretty big fixes there, or things that we sort of thought were a priority, but which we've really put some time into. And I can't give you too much, but there are definitely some behavioural stuff we have been working on, and we want to see that come to life on Saturday. And we're not aiming for perfection, but we're aiming to see some genuine intent.
In terms of attacking, obviously you've got one of the world's best World Cup winner, and had great success with Ireland. From a guy who's at the heart of it, what have you made of Mike Catt and the impact he's already had?
Yeah, Catty's he's world class. He's a really good guy too. He's on the field, he's sort of chipping away at you, and he really drives a high standard around your skill set, which is great. I was just doing a little bit of kicking with him there off my left, which was a nice little change up, and he hits him pretty well too. But he's been great for the group. He drives a really high standard, and just across what he expects from the playing group. He doesn't want us to be robotical. He wants us to see what's in front and scan and be able to take opportunity when they present themselves. And he's a funny guy off the field too.
You're a leader of this team. There's a huge amount of new guys in. Obviously, you've got to get it right for the Brumbies, just in terms of how you play, but also bonds, trust. How do you find that in training, just building that trust? You've also got Joseph coming in at 15.
Yeah, we've had some guys come from, obviously Joseph come across, but some of the Rebels guys who are really strong leaders at their club. You got Rob, who was a captain, Andrew Killaway, who's been a leader throughout all sort of teams he's been involved in, and the big man himself, Nella, which is good to have him around. He's an absolute powerhouse, and he's training well, and he's fit, and he's in good condition. But we've had, like I said, some guys come across that have really added value to the group, and it's about sort of integrating them, and they've done a really good job of that. Dan's been really clear on what the expectation from us Wallabies boys were coming back, and I wouldn't say seamless, but it's been a good transition back in.
Last year, obviously, you had a bit of a rough trot with the trials, and read an interview you did with Pedro where you were like, at the time you were thinking, geez, it could be tough here. How much do you read into the trials? Because when they go well, it's good, but if they go bad, doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like, how are you reading into this game?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, I've played years where we've gone well in trials and it's gone not so well, and we've had years where we haven't. I think the result is somewhat important, but it's not everything. Like I said, we want to come into the game. We know there's going to be clunky moments in there. We don't want to put any added extra pressure on ourselves. We want to play some of our rugby. I'm pretty confident you'll see that in large parts of the game, and it's more like I spoke around our work rate and our fight and our energy more than some of the tries that we will be scoring throughout the year. But we got plenty of class. Like, you give Malachi, the list goes on. Joey, Kel. I'm going to leave people out now, but those sort of people are just great athletes who create stuff. We just can't put pressure on the whole group to force something. We just want to go out there, work bloody hard for one another, and see what happens.
Dan, this is the first time Dan faces his old side. I know there'll be a lot more attention on that round 6 game, but is that something that's been joked about by players and mentioned in the build-up about him going up against his old side?
Nah, not really. I haven't spoken to him really about it at all. There's been, apart from when we first chatted for the first time, we had a little brief chat on I never would have imagined, but I think he sees great opportunity in this team, and he's a really proud Australian. The time I spent in the Wallabies with him, he was terrific. And we're just excited to have him on our team. It's been tough going against him for so long, and he's got a great rugby brain, and we're happy we got him.
Just looking at that back line, there's a couple of guys just coming, debuted for Wallabies last year, in your Taines and Jorgos and Darbies. Like, as a senior player, how do you go about just sort of ensuring that they can just sort of keep building and sort of don't fall in the habit of just maybe getting a little complacent, or just continuing to get better with the sort of line series on the horizon?
Yeah. I've had a little bit to do with Darby. I think that the coaches do a great job of, I wouldn't say keeping them on their toes, but developing them as players. I've known Tane for a lot longer, and he's incredible. His mindset around here, how he approaches for games. He usually tells me what to do more than I tell him, but the way he prepares and how professional he is some of the best I've ever seen. So I probably don't need to have too many conversations about his preparation, and neither with Darby. They got their heads screwed on those boys. They'll be ready to go.
I was just going to say, in some ways, it's the best time of the year because clean slate, anything's possible. How have you gone about, just as a leader, recharging mentally and sort of kicking off the dirt of last season? How do you find that personally?
Yeah, look, it was a frustrating 6 months. That was a really sort of tough time of the year, and on reflection, I thought, I still look back on probably that Fiji game being a real killer for us, and the momentum that we thought we were possibly creating. I could be wrong in saying that too. You never know. But I've got to worry about my own performance. That's probably the most important thing coming back into the group, that I can lead by example, firstly, so guys believe me and can trust me. But I'm excited for possibly what this group could do if we reach our potential. I just think, if we stick to what we plan to do this year and what the coaches are driving from us, I think we can really play some good rugby.
Mate, there's a big convoy going to Barrel. I don't know if it's near sellout, but it's going to be a big crowd. What's it like getting out to regional New South Wales and just getting out of the city for a change of scene? It's great. I think throughout the years I've been here, we've had a really strong country contingent. And what's important, New South Wales being so broad, is that we do have a connection to those rural places. We need to promote in rural New South Wales, which at times can be really difficult. I remember that COVID year, we were going to have a game out of Tamworth that was capacity like that. That was a really real disappointment that we couldn't get that off the line. But it's, I'd imagine Barrel being halfway between New South Wales and Canberra, whatever you call it, it's New South Wales country still. So we're excited for that, and we're excited for the game.